Hello, everybody out there in We Play Badly Land. It's Weasel, and yes, I'm playing Minecraft again. I took a 3-week hiatus from streaming on account of the fact that I hit a wall mentally and I needed to stop. Anywho, so I've got an ad break going on Twitch right now, and I was talking about, the Rooster Teeth thing and how Rooster Teeth is basically being dismantled and shut down after being in business for 21 years, and the excuse is, a non-profitable fan base. Well, this non-profitable fan base was used to things being done a certain way and being okay with it done that way, because if they didn't want to pay for a subscription, they had to wait 24 hours or a week to see the content they wanted to see, and it was great. And then it was, oh, now you have to buy HBO Max, and you can see it immediately, or you can buy a subscription and see it immediately. But if you don't want to do either of those things, you're gonna have to wait like 6 months to a year. As somebody, and yes, I will say the fan base was spoiled, but at the same time, it's like, no, fuck you. You don't get to do that. Anyway. There was, like I said, and I will say again, there's a lot of things that I question, and it's not because I'm looking for someone to point fingers at, or I'm like, oh, it's so-and-so's fault, it's so-and-so's fault. It's like, when you look at things when you try to look at things from, when you're a fan or passionate about something, or you enjoy something, and sometimes you're like, oh, it's so-and-so, it's so-and-so, you don't want to look at somebody you've admired and to a degree idolized over the years and go, nah, they're this coming piece of shit. You don't want to do that. But when you see things that don't make sense, your brain goes, hey, wait a minute, what the hell? And that happened and it evolved around money and somebody walking away and choosing to live a new and different life somewhere else. And it was one of those things that's like, this doesn't add up. And I'm not going to point fingers, I'm not going to lay blame, but something just didn't add up in my head. And obviously, I don't know all the details, I don't presume to know all the details, but, if something smells fishy, it's probably fishy. Anyway. I'm not really going to talk about it anymore because I don't want to, because there's a lot of people right now who are struggling, who just literally found out today, hey, guess what? You don't have a job anymore. Good luck. And I'm not going to do that because it's fucked up and it's not really my place, But, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. If something don't smell right, hey, if it looks like a duck and talks like a duck, hey, guess what? It's a duck and it's a problem, So I need 5 of these light engineering blocks. Okay, it's iron, not steel. Fuck. And I've never been one of those guys that's like, oh, they're going down in flames, oh, they're going to fail, oh, they suck, blah, blah, blah. Because that's just not who I am. It's never really been who I am. It's not how I think. It's not how I like to think. Because at the end of the day, the things I am a fan of, the things I like, the things I'm passionate about, I want them to succeed. I don't want things I enjoy and things I care about and things I value in my life to fail. I don't want to see people fail, flounder, struggle, and fuck up. I want to see people succeed. The problem, but like I've said, if something doesn't, if you're doing the math and, for some reason in your head, 2 + 2 is equaling 7, that, what do? You just go, oh, well, 2 + 2 = 7, and, walk off. No, you're going to ask questions. You're going to ask questions people don't want to answer. And, and and at the end of the day, if a lot of people a lot of people just found out the hard way, they don't have today, that they don't have work tomorrow. And while it's like, oh, it's just the entertainment industry being a bunch of shitty scumbags again, it's like, well, we knew this after the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes. Like, this is not new information. We knew they were going to be shitty and cut corners wherever they could. That's not new information. So I need 2 per block. I need like a shit ton. It's it's one of those things. It's like, hey, congratulations, no duh. But at the same time, it's like, it still sucks, it still hurts, and it still doesn't make any sense, and you need an answer. And the truth is, there are no answers. There's never going to be answers, because the people that have the answers don't want you to hear them, because then you'll be upset, because at the end of the day, the answer was, we just wanted to make more money. And that's, fucked up and wrong, but as I've said before, and I'll say again, we live in a country where, it's like, oh, it's, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing. No, it's, at the end of the day, the reason, life is so expensive, gas is so expensive, bills are so expensive, food is so expensive, and life is getting harder and harder and harder. It's not, because the long and short of it is, in recent years, we decided as a people to elect leaders into positions of power, who just simply decided that they didn't give a shit about the needs of anyone except themselves, and that profit was more important than anything else. And here we are. Now there's 300 some odd people, out on their asses looking for, now updating their resumes after anywhere from, 2 to 3 to 5 to 20 years of, doing something they love and being damn good at it. And now they're boned for, trying to do the best they could within the constraints that, the organization they work for had to operate under, simply because some a-hole with more money than sense decided, oh, I'm going to be an entertainment mogul, and not, oh, I should maybe let the people who know how to run a business. Oh, I should let the people who know how these things work actually do the work. Instead of going, no, I'm smart, you're not, you're dumb, you fail. And, surprise, surprise, here we are. And I want to feel bad for, I want to feel bad for everyone who's struggling, everyone who's feeling the pinch of, suddenly going, oh shit, time to update the resume. Because, a lot of these people, like in the case of the Rooster Teeth thing, and I know I didn't want to talk about it, but here I am. A lot of them relocated to Texas because at the time it was easier to do things in person than it was to do it remotely, digitally, with so on and so forth, or to, it made more sense at the time. And now you have, like, again, 200-300 people who relocated from all over the U.S., all over the world, possibly even, to work for a company. It's like, oh, hey, good morning, you're fucked. Because somebody arbitrarily decided, no, we're just going to fuck you. We're not going to take care of you. We're not going to look out. We're not going to really look out for you. We just decided all of your work doesn't mean shit. We're probably just going to, archive it, maybe if you're lucky, and if not, we'll just completely fucking destroy 20 years of work just because it's not profitable and we don't care. I mean, I'm wearing a Screw Attack t-shirt, an Achievement Hunter, and an Achievement Hunter baseball cap. Screw Attack doesn't exist anymore because it was, taken apart and turned into both Game Attack and eventually Death Battle on Rooster Teeth. And Achievement Hunter basically died last year in October. And, part of the problem was it was like, hey, surprise, we're not doing this anymore. Well, why? This is what we all love. This is what we love. It's not generating the numbers we want because, people aren't paying as much attention. It's like, well, all the people we liked quit or got fired or, it's like, unfortunately, we've seen too much of the bullshit behind, unfortunately, we've seen too much of the shit behind the curtains, and we've seen too much about how the sausage is made, and you guys kind of dropped the ball on it, and we're upset. And instead of getting a general, response of, hey, we're going to try to do better, hey, we apologize, it was a bunch of half-hearted apologies, and all of a sudden, an about-face on everything. And then a lot of, loudmouths on the internet are going, herd, token liars, blah, blah, blah. You guys are all woke now, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, people complained, we changed things. People complained, we collectively for them changed things. We did our best to fix things, and now all of a sudden you hate us even more. What the fuck? And of course, naturally, the upper echelons of corporate America looked at that and said, "Oh, they're not making money. They're not making us enough money. They're not making us enough money. They're going through a transition phase, but they're not making us enough money, so screw them." So, to be honest, if I ever manage to get We Play Badly fiscally off the ground, and some large mega corporation goes, "We'd like to buy your company. We'll pay you lots and lots of money. You won't have to worry about that again." I already know exactly what I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to tell them this. Fuck you. I would rather shut the whole thing down than let some asshole studio execs who are more concerned about, the color of the interior of their brand new yacht while they're, standing around, at a conference in the Bahamas with a bunch of other like-minded shitbags stroking each other's egos. It's like, will I succeed? Probably not. Will I succeed? Maybe, maybe not. Will I be, mega wealthy? Maybe, maybe not. My goal is not to be mega wealthy. My goal is honestly to stop hurting myself for a living, to be able to work at home, or to be able to work in a more comfortable environment where I'm not, pulling off, beat up boots that I desperately need to replace but can't afford because I don't have enough money, to look at my, feet constantly bloodied, covered in bloody blisters and bruises and all sorts of shit, for barely enough money to keep myself fed, if I want to keep, it's like, there are days where I go to the grocery store, it's like, do I feed my kids, or do I get food for my kids, or do I make sure I have enough to eat? And if I have to choose, I'm going to choose my kids, They're only here for like a day and a half, but I still need to take better, but I need to feed them, and I need to make sure I'm feeding them. And as fucked up as it is, that's the nature of things. Fun, isn't it? But it's like, that's a choice. You're right. It's a choice. I could just, turn my back on my children and be a giant piece of crap. But the truth is, I'm not that kind of a person. I'm not that ambitious. I'm certainly not that ruthlessly selfish. Maybe I should be. I don't know. But I won't be. Honestly, We Play Badly as a whole, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I just wanted an excuse. I basically wanted to try to figure out a way to spend the rest of my life playing video games with my closest friends. I have this vision, like, if I end up, somehow, knock on wood, like winning a lottery jackpot or something and getting my life completely under my control, I'm still going to do everything I need to get We Play Badly going and have people work with me that want to work with me and do things they want to do. And you know who's not going to get paid? Me. I'm not going to need it. And if I can't, actually do like the LLC actual paycheck thing, I'll figure it out as best I can. And if I have to, it's like, hey, you're struggling with bills. Okay, what do you need for these bills? How much do you need? What do you need? How can I help? And figure out ways to help the people that if I can't do things like with all the paperwork and the bells and whistles and shit, find a way to help the people I care about and the people who I need to take care of in ways that, help them. And, obviously pay them at the same time. There's ways to do things, and if you're willing to put in the work and do what you can to help everybody, help other people, you can. Obviously, there's rules and constraints when you have to make decisions that are best for everybody and not and so on and so forth. And I get that. There are rules and they have to be followed. I get that. But don't put yourself in the position where suddenly you have to follow these rules or avoid it if you can, and things take on a whole different context. And I could be talking out my ass, and I probably am, because I'm not a genius. I'm not some business magnate, some brilliant genius. I'm not. What I do know is, if you want to have a successful, if you want a company, an entertainment or business like, Rooster Teeth, for example, had, and you want it to be successful, you have to find a balance that, there has to be some sort of a measure of a balance that works for not everybody involved, and not just the corporate overlords, and not just the really, really rich guys at the top who all they care about is their bottom line and their profit margins, but also for the people consuming the product. Because you're at the end of the day, you're selling a product. That's what entertainment is. It's a product. It's the same as like a pair of shoes or a nice meal. It's a product. It's a purchased good. It's a good or service, and you want to provide the best product for the people who are willing to pay for it or enjoy it, use it. And yes, it's like, well, I want it for free. Of course you do, but you're going to have to wait. You can either pay to watch it, right when it comes out, or you can wait, or you're going to have to, wait, and everyone who pays gets to see it first. And that is understandable, and most people were willing to wait because, it wasn't cost effective to spend that kind of money. And again, it's the greed thing. It's like, all these, like Netflix cracking down on sharing passwords, Disney Plus cracking down on sharing passwords, Hulu, Paramount, all these, streaming services. It's like, don't share your password. Don't share your password. Like, dude, if you're buying a streaming service, like if you're buying like Disney Plus, it's like, and you want it commercial free, it's like $25 a month. If they're all commercial free and you're buying all the streaming services and you're not buying like a package deal like Disney had with Hulu and ESPN, you're going to end up paying like $200 a month just to, be able to watch all the shit you want to watch on TV because, different companies control different rights and stuff like that. It's like, well, you could just watch it on cable. It's like, no, you can't. Because if you want to watch the channels that have all this content, hey, guess what? A lot of those are premium channels, and you're going from like a $100 to $150 cable bill to like $200 or $300 because you want to watch the premium channels for specific stuff. And the thing that a lot of these like, well, they'll pay for it if they really, really want it. Yes, they will. The problem is, after a while, they're going to have to make a decision between enough is enough. And, the response to that is, well, I can't afford for this. Well, then I guess you better get a better job. Hey, asshole. If all the people who were doing the jobs that nobody wants to do, like slinging burgers and making fries and taking your order in the drive-thru, suddenly just said fuck it, got up and got another job, hey, guess what? Who's gonna make your fucking hamburgers for you? Who's gonna upsize your meal at McDonald's? Who's gonna hand you your bag of junk food? Nobody. And it's not that fucking simple. Because, it's like, apparently, there's like, a lot of companies have, and a lot of companies constantly have, positions available, apply within, or apply online, apply at this job website. Problem is, those positions are filled. They're just there. They're just constantly saying, hey, we're looking for people. No, you're not. But it's like if they do that, they get some sort of deal or discount or benefit or something by lying and saying they have jobs available. And again, it's all these, like a lot of people were working 2 or 3 jobs during the, mandatory shutdown, stay at home thing, because they were doing 8 hours of work in 2 or 3 hours because they weren't being bogged down with conference calls, meetings, constant interruptions and disruptions from their actual task they are supposed to be doing. Like, I don't have many meetings at work, but I constantly see my boss have to get up and go to a meeting, have to get up and go to a meeting, have to get up and go to a meeting. And, he gets bogged down in paper, because he can't finish the paperwork he's supposed to process because all of a sudden, got to get up, got to go to another meeting, got to get up and go to this meeting, got to get up and go to that meeting. It's like, what the fuck? How many fucking meetings do these people need to have in a day to fucking figure out what they're doing? And if, you need to have like a meeting with so-and-so and a meeting with so-and-so to figure out what the fuck's going on, maybe the guy sitting up in the giant office making 6 figures a year to stand around with his thumb up his ass and pretend he knows what he's doing needs to get down off his goddamn high horse and actually get involved in shit. Oh, I know everything that's going on. Really? Because you sure as fuck don't look like it, because you have to have 27 meetings on the State of the Union. That's not general knowledge and awareness of how things are going. That's just, hoping to God that's like, give me a rundown of what's going on. No. Get up off your ass and do some work. Am I being fair? No. Not at all. And I don't give a shit. But I can safely say with little or no doubt in my mind that there are people in this country who are, basically sitting in a cushy office someplace in a really nice city, have a really stress-free commute, if at all, to one of their plethoras of like giant ass homes. And yes, I'm exaggerating and embellishing and bullshitting because I'm pissed. And they make more money, and some of these people make more money in the time it takes them to unzip their flies, or to literally walk to a bathroom and take a piss. In the time it takes them to go take a piss, they make more money than I do in a year, standing on my feet 8 hours a day, doing overtime on a weekly basis just to go deliver packages to another courier service because it's required of me, explaining to grown adults that Canada is not part of the United States with considerably less frequently, how they made mistakes on the orders that they made, even though I've never actually made a sales order in my entire life working for the company, or, why they can't have an order shipped out today because we don't have the parts. We haven't had the parts, and we're not getting the parts until next week, so stop putting in orders for stuff we don't have and tell the truth. Stop lying to our customers. Say, yes, we can ship that out today. Go, no, we can't ship that out today. We're going to have to wait. It's going to take a week. Suck it up, Buttercup, and deal with it. because the people I have to contend with are also dealing with their own bullshit because, because they basically have to lie to people, and if they don't, their job's on the line. It's like, when does it fucking end? And the answer is it doesn't. And all of it revolves around, of all things, the stock market, which is not what. I feel like I'm mansplaining and raging at this point, but I'm just working on making parts to make machines that I can't power because I don't have electricity yet. Long story short, it's also a bunch of people with more money than sense can, gamble in the stock, basically effectively gamble in the stock market, because that's what the stock market actually is legalized gambling. But here's the thing, the way it's set up is because they have because the laws are a lot of the laws and regulations are set up in certain ways that it's basically legalized gambling, and the deck is stacked in their favor. And if they don't like how something's going, they can just turn around and throw a hissy fit and go, well, I'm a stockholder, you need to do what I say. And it's like, go fuck yourself, dude. I got employees to take care of. Like that CEO in Washington, Dan Price, who just decided, he's like, I have this great idea for eliminating employee turnover. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut my salary to what I need to exist, and all of my employees are going to get paid what they need. And I'm going to pay all of my employees a starting salary of $70,000 a year. Because one of them just literally sat down and said, I'm not making enough money to live off of. And so he just kind of did the math and goes, let's start here. And his employee turnover rate dropped. His job satisfaction rate for his employees skyrocketed. And what happened to that guy? He made a mistake. He admitted to it. He did a lot of stupid shit. He accepted culpability and responsibility for his actions, and he's effectively disappeared. He's been cut off from everything that he did. Effectively had to cut himself off from everything he did because he did something stupid. And yeah, what he did was fucked up, and I'm not going to whitewash it or say, oh, he didn't do anything wrong, because he did do something wrong. But it's like, but it's he's not a hero. He's not a great guy. He's kind of a piece of crap, and I accept that. But when somebody comes along and actually wants to make things better for not just themselves and not to line their own pockets, but genuinely gives a shit, everyone and their mom starts looking for dirt. Starts looking for ways to discredit them and shit on them. Because we no longer live in a world where, we care about each other. We live in a world where it's fuck you, I got mine. And it's all because of the wealthy. They stack everything in their favor, and then they brag and they gloat about it, and we now live in a culture a world that prioritizes personal wealth and prosperity over everything else. It's like, who gives a shit if so and so's poor? I'm rich, and these self-help gurus who talk about how it's like, you got to look out for yourself, you got to look out for number one, all this shit, and it's like, hey, congratulations, you're contributing to the problem now. And, at the end of the day, nobody cares. And I'm honestly just as bad as everyone else. I'm selfish. I'm greedy. But, as I've also said, earlier in my little rant, I realize there's a commercial break going for Twitch viewers, and sorry. I don't want to be, obnoxiously, hideously wealthy. I want enough space to take care of my kids, to give them the home I've always wanted to give them, which is their own. They're at this point where a lot of their behavior issues are literally as a result of the fact that they have no personal space of their own. They don't have a place for their stuff. They don't have a place for themselves to be themselves. And I've gone round and round with their mom about this, but part of my theory about it is, well, maybe if they had individual time with dad and individual time with mom, that would curve some of these behavior issues, because then they would feel like they have, when they're with us individually, they have a sense of personal proprietary importance and value. It's like, hey, this is your time with me. This is your time with mom. And then next week we're going to flip it around so that you get to have your time with mom and your brother gets to have his time with me, kind of a thing. And and she basically said no. She said, I don't want to do it. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it would be better if we keep things the way they are, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. And I just kind of looked at that and went, okay. They need to have a sense of individualness. They need to feel like they are, on a fundamental level, important enough to us and value that we care about them enough to give them that sense of individuality and, the idea of we want them to feel like they are their own people and their own person, kind of a thing, a sense of personhood and identity, so that they're less inclined to, mouth off, rebel, act up, get in trouble, do stupid shit. No, I'm apparently wrong. And again, I'm not going to go, he said, she said, this is her fault, this is my fault, I'm being stubborn, she's not willing to listen, blah, blah, blah. Because, there's, like everything, there's always an extenuating circumstance. But I will admit that I'm just not satisfied with the answer, because the answer is in no way, in shape, or form in my mind satisfactory. Because a lot of it kind of feels like, for lack of better words, a cop-out. Okay, so and I'm not finger pointing. I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, you're finger pointing, you're laying blame. It's like, yeah, I get it. It feels like I am, and to a degree I am. But I'm not doing it because I want to make her look bad, or I want to look like the hero, or blah, 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 blah. I'm just looking at it from a different perspective, because I grew up in an environment where I had, to a degree, a sense of personal proprietary and privacy. So I know what that feels like, and I know what it feels. I also, know what it feels like to not have it, and it sucks. So it's not so much that I'm arguing for the sake of arguing. It's like, look, this is an issue. It sucks, and this is an issue. It sucks. It's not good for them. We need to address it, and we need to address it, responsibly. Well, I don't agree. Like, I don't care if you agree or not. It's one of those things I kind of want to look at the situation, a conversation, and go, like, I don't care if you agree or not, and reality doesn't care if you agree or not. Like, this is the issue. and it's fixable. We just need to find a different way to approach things. I'm proposing the best idea I currently have. No, I don't want to do it. Why? It's like, why don't you want to do this? And I have my theories, and they are not fair. They are not kind. They are not kind or reflective on her on the other person involved, and yes, I will just say her, in a very positive light. And again, it's not fair. She's not here to defend herself. She's not here to speak her mind on the subject. So I can't just go, oh, it's all her fault. She's full of shit, blah, blah, blah. I can't do that, because that is wrong and inappropriate, and just, a level of fairness has to be applied in all things, and I understand that. I need a bucket of lava. It's just, I also realize it's like a personal view thing, it's a personal thought process thing, and I understand that's part of the problem as well. Like, I see things differently than she does, because when, there's a situation and I try to resolve it, instead of acting like I know all the answers, I pull myself out of the situation. I extract myself from the situation and start going, what if we tried this? What if we tried this? Instead of just going, I know what I'm doing, I go, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm coming up with ideas and alternatives and other thoughts and other thought processes about it. Because I don't have all the answers. So I ask questions, and apparently the questions I ask somebody else doesn't like, and it's one of those things. It's like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm doing what I know how to do, which is ask questions to find solutions. I'm trying to be logical and rational about this for the sake of everyone involved, not just for my convenience, your convenience, or anyone else's convenience. I'm more focused on the people who will benefit from this the most, i.e., our children. And I take that approach with everything I do, with everything I think about, and every idea I've come up with or thought process that I've had about, how to run a business, how to do this, how to do that, how to take care of people. It's like, it's not about what's best for me. It's never about what's best for me. It's about what's best for the people who have the most, to gain, or the most to lose. And of course, and I apologize for saying this, and surprise, surprise, the reason, organizations and creative, endeavors like, Rooster Teeth and other things that just kind of get shut down and suddenly disappear, or, like the Batgirl movie we thought we were going to get and never did, it's because the people in charge decide, hey, you know what? We're not making as much money as we like. We're not happy. Our stockbrokers aren't happy with how much money we're not making. So we're going to punish you instead of, somehow trying to, instead of holding ourselves accountable, we're going to punish the people who we think aren't doing a good enough job. Because it's easier to blame them than it is to just go, hey, wait a minute, you know what? I think this is our fault. So let's just blame them instead. And that's not the answer. It's never the answer. So I need 9 of these. So I need 40. That's easy. It's 45. I just hope I have this set up in the right way so I can actually attach wiring to it, because I'm going to feel really, really stupid if I don't. Anyhow. Long story short, hardworking people, a lot of hardworking people got screwed today because a lot of people who haven't worked very hard to get to where they are, or claimed that they've worked hard to get to where they are and didn't, just randomly and arbitrarily decided, screw you, I got mine. And that is a giant pile of bullcrap, and they all deserve what's coming to them. And that's where I stand on that. Am I being fair? Am I being nice? Hell fucking no. And I don't want to be either. You know, I am actually a complete idiot. But that's okay. Because this actually kind of gives me something to do for the time being. Sorry. Anyway. I get way too passionate about stuff sometimes, but it's like... You know, it's like, well, what do you know about economics? You know, did you go to college for economics? No, I did not go to college. Then you know what you're talking about. From an academic perspective, no, I don't. From a talking head on a news program perspective, no, I don't. From a I have to live in this shit perspective, yes, I do. And instead of listening like the talking heads on TV talking about, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing this, we should be doing this, you know what we should be doing? Giving a fuck about the people who are struggling. Giving a fuck about the people who, you know... And again, I've gotten into arguments with this about this on the internet, and I continue to do so because I'm a stubborn asshole who refuses to learn from my mistakes. I've gotten into arguments with people online. It's like, you know, people shouldn't, you know, this economy is fucked up because, you know, people don't seem to understand that you're getting worked to death and blah, blah. It's like, well, why can't you work 60 hours a week? Why can't you work? I work 100 hours a week, man, and I still get to spend time with my wife and my kids. And I'm like, working 100 hours a week isn't a flex, dude. You're basically a slave. It's like, it doesn't matter how much fucking money you make. You're just, you know, you're still basically enslaving yourself to a job. Like, there's 168 hours in a week. You need 56 of them to sleep. For an average 8 hours of sleep a day, which is what every doctor on the planet says you need. Right? Right. You got that established? Great. If you're working 100 hours a week and you're sleeping 8 hours a day, you've got 12 hours left to socialize, spend time with your family, take care of your kids. That's not enough time. That's not enough time for anything. That's not something that should be celebrated. That should be something that should be fixed. You know, and I try to make a point. It's like if you're working in a fast food restaurant and you need to work 2 hours to be able to afford 2 hours at said fast food restaurant to be able to afford your lunch meal, that isn't your fault. That isn't your fault for having a shitty job. If you want to buy a Mercedes on an hourly wage at McDonald's, and you get behind on payments and you can't afford it, yeah, that's your fucking fault. Like that's completely on you, and you kind of deserve that one. Like, you know, all nonsense aside, that is absolutely on you. Or, you know, you want to have like, you know, a 72-inch flat screen TV and a PS5, and you're making you're making like $15 an hour at McDonald's. Yeah, I'm not going to pity you. Like, I don't have a 72-inch plasma TV, I don't have a PS5, and I don't work at a fucking McDonald's. But I definitely don't get paid what I'm worth. And that's not my boss's job. That's not my boss's fault. It is about 10% my fault, and 10% the lack of rules and regulations we're enforcing on capitalism. You know, long story short, if, you know, the guy at the top of the food chain is making more money, you know, taking a piss than, you know, I need to chisel this shit too? Oh, for fuck's sake. Where did I put my chisel? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Because I can't be bothered to remember where the fuck my chisel is. This is getting stupid. And this is why I got annoyed and went creative mode a lot in this particular section of the game. Because, why? Anyway, sorry about the ranting. I'm apparently a little madder about things than I thought I was, and and it's okay, you know. It is okay to be upset about things like this, because it's like the answer, the solution, the reason is just such pure and utter horseshit. It makes absolutely no sense from any perspective except, we're not making enough money. You're not making enough money because you basically cut people off from what they wanted, and the people doing the work thought, oh, maybe it's because we're not being as they're not as entertained as they used to be, or they're bored, so we're going to try something new. It's like, no, we weren't bored. We liked it. We just can't see it anymore because the people in charge have taken away our ability to enjoy your work. It's like you're and the truth is, it was all part of the plan. It was always part of the plan. It's like, no, we don't care. You're not making money. We don't care. We're going to punish you, so screw you. Anywho, I'm going to take a quick breaky poo right here to say thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the rant. I'll just focus on what I'm doing in SevTech Ages. I appreciate you all for being here. If you liked the video, click the thumbs up button, subscribe so you can see all of We Play Badly's content, which is pretty much me at this point. Ring the bell for notifications and let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.